Hey guys, welcome to Art Tree Watercolors. I've pre-wetted my paper and let it soak in for just a couple of minutes. You see me adding here the ultramarine blue into the sky area and then blending that down towards what I would call the horizon line, I guess you would say. Next I'm going to add some Payne's gray. I'm going to try to give it a dark bluish gray, kind of like a late evening snowy look to the sky is what I'm hoping to achieve. And so we'll blend that together as you see here. And keep in mind with watercolors, when you apply that as it dries, it will even lighten a little more. Next, I'm taking a plastic card I just cut up like an old credit card or library card in this case, and basically a plastic card. I'm just holding it and trying to scrape into the damp paint areas where I'm going to be putting old cabins. And you can scrape in the roof area and it'll look kind of white, and if it's not as white as you'd like it to be, you can always go back and use some of your white paint, your watercolors, and actually make the roofs look a little bit more snow covered, I guess is the way to put it. And so this is what I'm doing, kind of laying out. Some of the roofs are larger than the others because the housing is closer or further away, and you want to kind of get that look of depth and dimension. So like I said, I'm just basically scraping that in. I'll come back later and I'll actually complete those homes. I'm putting in the walls now that the roof is actually resting on. So I usually use a raw sienna or umber, burnt umber, kind of get a brown look to it. And you'll see as we complete the painting how they turned out. It's not like a fancy painting as far as the architectural goes. I just want to have the impression, and that's what kind of painting we're doing here is watercolor and impressionist. So our detail isn't the finest of details, but it does leave you the impression, the effect of cabins. So let's watch this and then we'll move on to something else. Okay, so next I'm putting in some vegetation, foliage of trees and impressions of trees and brush in the background, kind of back behind the cabins. And I'm using like a mix of burnt umber and raw sienna to kind of get a brown effect to the vegetation, as if it's during winter time, and so it's not really green like it would be in the spring. And I'm going to put this across the page, like I said, in the background, beyond the buildings, which will add to the depth effect that I'm looking for. There we go. And next I'm going to take some of the blue and gray, and I'm using my I believe it's a number 0 round tip detail pen or brush, excuse me, and I'm just kind of brushing in some land features, some texture above the snow on the ground. Now I switched over to a mop brush. This is a smaller size 1 mop brush. I really like this size 1 mop brush because it allows you to, well, as you're seeing, what I'm doing here is I'm putting in some shadow on the snow, and at the same time that would give the certain effects to the snow, ups and downs, the rise and fall of the land underneath the snow, some shadows, like I said. And this is like I said, a number 1 brush, mop brush. It allows you to do real fine lines, and it allows you to, if you press a little harder, it allows you to do a lot broader strokes. Here we're going to try to make the edge of the snow as a bank, an embankment, where the snow is kind of pushed up, and you'll get that effect as you'll see it progress here. And we're kind of like outlining, I guess, what you would call a little roadway covered with snow, a little path that leads back towards the cabins. Also takes a little raw sienna, and I'm going to try to put in a little raw sienna, a little underbrush, a little grass, I guess you would say, that's kind of brown in color, and that kind of pops up through the snow during the winter. So I'm putting in those little details now. Next, I want to do little fence posts. So let's do those posts. We're going to follow the little road there, and as we get further away, the posts of course will get shorter looking, smaller in the distance. I'm going to take these posts way in the distance there. Now to complete that fence line, we have to put in some horizontal features, like boards that connect to those posts. And that's what you're seeing now. And at the end we'll do a summary, of course, and we'll zoom in, and you'll see a lot better the features that we've painted here. You'll get closer shots of it so you can get a good idea. I just drew in a couple walking down the path there. Looks like maybe a husband and wife holding hands. We'll zoom in later here and you'll see that. Little following along as their dog. So now let's take the tape off, and it'll leave a nice little border. We'll have a look, see what the overall picture looks like. We also added in shadows to the posts. Hey guys, going to do a quick summary. This is a snow scene, and it's just from my imagination. I just made it up. You kind of have a fence line, as you can see here, and some people a couple walking with their dog in the distance. We'll zoom in on that in just a minute. Here you have shadows in the snow and sort of the roadway leading back towards the houses and cabins back here. So you have some undergrowth from the winter here. Here have a tree kind of lost its leaves and casting shadow along with the fence posts casting shadow, and shadow on the snow. As you can see, we zoom in on the tree, a little bit of the snow hanging up there on the branches, and then you look in the back, you have a lot of brown growth behind the houses. Houses' roofs covered with snow, and you have some homes seen further back right here. And then if you zoom in on the people, a couple looks like they're holding hands, walking their dog, and again their shadows are casting along this white snow. You see the tracks that they've made through the snow there. You can see the fence posts and the rails of the fence with the little bits of snow hanging on it. As you get closer, and then we zoom out, and now we can take a quick look at the pictures. Hope you guys enjoyed this.